intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey everyone, look, it's time to get your PvP stuff ready to go because Infinite Incursions is returning. Now, it runs between every arc. That's been its consistent running pace here for the past several months, and hopefully that remains because honestly, one thing we definitely need is consistency from this game that you and I play every single day. But let's talk about what's changing with Incursions because they're running out something that I think is interesting, and I'm not just saying that. I actually do like what they're going to give you. Some numbers we're going to talk about, but before we get into any of that, what we're going to do first, let's just go over who's facing what, give you that brass tacks info, and then after that, move on to more. Q snap, here we are, Infinite Incursions for April. It will be happening on April 4th. Oh, that's actually quite soon. I can't believe that March, February, and January have all flown by as they have. But the following servers are on a buy: 94, 707, 715, 716, 716 being one of the newest servers in existence, 408, and then 202. But here are your pairings. So 7 and 710, for example, one of my servers is going against 711 again, whereas server 20 is going against server 26. I know quite a few of you on that server. Feel free to come on by and say hi. I know you want to. I know you think. I know those folks. They're feisty. We got them. We're going to take them down. Bring it, 26. Beat you before, we'll beat you again. But here are the pairings and what you're going to find in APAC right there. I almost forgot about y'all. Shout out 201. I called them out in yesterday's video and they responded by being in the chat. So greatly appreciate y'all. Congratulations. I do want y'all to lose though. Not fair that everybody else gets to just keep on losing and keep on winning. It's about time somebody took you down. You know what, 188, I'm rooting for you. Got this. And if you're on 188, tell me how you're getting ready. So here are your pairings. There's your date. They've been running everything together at the same time. So expect that to continue. Now that also is a sign of good things. Why, you might ask? Rev, that does make no sense to call it good when they're running everything at the same time. Because there was a time where the game couldn't handle doing that. And there have been things they're doing to change things in the background to make things better. For example, recent feedback in PvP Arena says, while it's definitely not perfect, we have seen improvements in stability and lag. Again, I'm sure everybody's going to start blasting, but again, this is just something that we track and you've seen an improvement. They're also doing that with Incursions, and they're actually giving the data. Now that we can get that data, we can deduce after Incursions whether it was real or not. So here's what's happening. As you can see, recent performance changes. Pop it on over to this. What exactly are they doing? Now, this might seem novel or simple, but if it ends up working as they're saying their testing shows, and I know, shocker, go ahead and hit the pause button on this video because you're probably going to catch your breath. Yeah, testing happened. But they've done some testing, and now they've been working on arena stability. We've seen them talk about that, talk about the independent archives. I'm not going to get bogged down in the weeds here. Let's talk about what they're actually doing. So, in the past, you may have noticed that once you emptied a station during a raid, it would still yield a tiny trickle of resources if you attacked again. Those amounts came from the station's generators continuing to produce resources. Moving forward, once a station has been fully drained of resources, further hits won't generate anything at all. The station will remain empty until it recovers or repairs naturally over time. Now, I have thoughts, and I'm going to compare this to another game and why I actually think this is a good idea. Give us just a second as to why. With this adjustment, I seem minor. It should reduce server load, which would then improve stability and ultimately help lower incidents of lag during high traffic raids. So, what exactly is changing and how do they find improvement? So, we conducted an internal review comparing game performance a week before and a week after this update. We specifically measured cases where station battles lasted 5 seconds or more, often a sign that the game's battle processor was being bogged down by repeated resource snapshots from station generators. And here's what we found. 38%. Big number. Battles taking 5 seconds or longer were reduced by about 38% after removing the trickle of generator resources. And then we have a further one. When we broaden our scope to battles 3 seconds or longer, we observed a 43% reduction. So the tiny resource drops removed were meaningful, impacting raiders' overall gains. What does that mean? Well, that also means that raiding just doesn't give you what it should. But what it's really meaning is those generators we talk about already being worthless aren't providing much to us in-game when the raid's happening. So what is this like? So I'm actually going to compare this to a game that I've been playing a lot lately that if y'all want to play with me, y'all all have an open invitation. It is called Rust. So in the game Rust, you can join me in the Discord if you want more information. In the game Rust, if you attack a player's base, they cannot repair it. They cannot alter certain things when an attack is happening. And there's several reasons for that. Not only is it pragmatic to prevent you from just like forever repairing your wall so that it can never come down. But also for things like this, having had to talk to people who've worked around that game, there are similar concerns for all MMOs when it comes to client versus server side syncing and how things populate in the game, and then having to read all those things that are populating. All these things can matter versus various platforms regardless of what specific game you're referring to. And in this instance, what they're saying is the fact that those generators are constantly repopulating data means that you have to constantly rescan that data. Put it in the simple terms. So what they're saying is we're going to take the base, and if the attack starts, it's going to cut that off, right? And then there'll be a time limit before it reactivates, making the station a stationary item. So you know exactly what's in it. It's not constantly changing, and that hopefully is reducing their load times. Again, this is just a layman way of attempting to explain why 38%, why 40% actually matters, and why this could be a potential improvement to something that almost everybody here has experienced. You go out raiding in Incursions, which is the main way to win or lose for your server. You get into those wonderful matches where everybody's just lagging around the base with their amalgams, trying to raid it, spam clicking the attack button, and just waiting for it to actually happen while battles go on around you. Generally pretty laggy battles. So if they can reduce any type of server side lag and feedback, and if it is this, I think that's fantastic. Now, I'm bringing this up, all of this saying, because I think it's important for you to be monitoring this, because we're going to have Incursions here in a few days. Every single one of you here, hopefully with me, we're going to take the time, track, and see, did this actually make anything better? Now, individually, our experiences are anecdotal. However, together with all of us, that becomes empirical evidence. We get enough of a sample size of players saying, hey, look, this did or did not improve. Well, then we'll be able to actually give feedback to them and say, hey, look, we appreciate your effort, but you wasted your time, or we did see an improvement, but maybe not a perfect improvement. And when I say not a perfect improvement, I would actually refer to PvP arenas. We have seen stability improvements for PvP arenas. In fact, you've seen public arenas bring back thousands of players who had stopped doing PvP arenas, as well as we've seen overall performance improvements, though it still is a problem. In fact, those who watched my Twitch stream the other day saw me have to restart the game 5 times in the first hour. That's because of the client itself. So please don't take anything I'm saying as like defending Scopely, they've got it all right. But one thing I will always appreciate is transparency. And that's exactly what we're getting in this article and in this post, telling us what you're doing and telling us how it can improve the game. And we'll see if it does. We appreciate that when they did it with PvP arenas, appreciate it now here with Incursions. Key is, does it work? We've seen updates like this have drastic improvements to the game. For example, last year you had the big Unity update, and there are other updates they could do with Unity, and I'm quite curious when those are going to happen, or they've already happened and they have not told us. But when it comes to the overall stability of this game, we are all used to, as players, ups and downs. And I think we would be, disingenuous to deny that if we're trying to defend them, and it'd be disingenuous to say that improvements haven't been made if we are constantly angry at them. You tend to be more on my side, you tend to be more frustrated, but again, you have to be fair when things do get better at certain times, because those are the times you want them to replicate. When things get worse, you don't want that. So with the Incursions, I'm asking all of you to help me out. Yeah, there goes Rev being self-serving again. I want to know your experience for Incursions coming up, and I'm personally going to try to test it. Not that I'm going to give 26 resources, but I am going to be streaming and trying to see if improvements are better for everybody. I'm going to be doing it both on my mobile device and I'll be doing it on my PC client, though I don't have Apple. So if you got Apple out there, I would love to hear, especially from Apple users, because I don't have any of those devices any longer to test with. So I would love to get your thoughts and opinion. But there's your update for Incursions. April 4th. Get your PvP ships ready, whether it be your Boar Cube, your Burrell, your Saladin, or your Enterprise E. Indifferent to what you're using, I simply want you to enjoy the process and let me know what you think about this blow. Do you think this is going to end up being an actual change, an improvement to things, or expecting more of the same? And I don't mind either answer. All I ask you to do is put it down there. I want to see at least 100, 200 of y'all giving experience of previous Incursions and what you expect this to do. Because let's be honest, any of you hate the rating aspect, even though that's the main way to score. And last but certainly not least, one more thing I need you to do. It's simple. Like the video. Click the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you in your gaming experience. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. That's it. We're out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.